The spoon stopped halfway to her mouth. Amanda's hand began to shake. The smell of hot jollof rice and fried chicken filled the beautiful restaurant, but she could not taste anything anymore. The low music, the soft laugh of rich customers, the sound of clinking cutlery, all of it faded into the background. Her eyes were fixed on the man standing at the entrance. He looked like a shadow of a human being. His ash t-shirt was torn at the neck and at the sides. His jeans were dirty and ripped at the knees, stained with dry mud. His hair was overgrown, rough and wild. His beard was long and tangled, like nobody had touched it in years. His slippers looked like they could break at any moment. He held his empty hands out and spoke in a tired voice that still tried to sound strong. "Please, please, I am hungry. Can anyone help me with food? Just something to eat today." Some people looked away, like they did not hear him. Some whispered and frowned. The waiters glanced at each other, confused, not sure if they should chase him out or listen to him. This was a fancy restaurant on the island, with glass doors, gold lights, and expensive meals. People came here to take pictures and show off on social media. Homeless men did not belong here. But the man did not move. He stood in the middle of the restaurant, eyes shining with shame and hunger, hands shaking in the air. Amanda's heart began to beat loudly in her chest. No, it cannot be him. She placed the spoon back into her plate, very slowly. Greasy steam rose from the food, but she did not even look at it. Her eyes stayed on the man's face. The jawline, the shape of his nose. Even under the rough beard and tired eyes, she knew that face. Her throat went dry. Donald. Her former boss. Her first boss. The man who once sat behind a big desk and spoke like he owned the whole world. Now he was standing in front of her, begging for food. And in this restaurant, her restaurant, the place she had built for her younger cousin to manage as a business. The logo on the wall, the colors on the chairs, the menu, everything in here had her touch. Her money, her name, even if it was hidden. Amanda could feel her palms growing sweaty. She watched as a woman at a nearby table hissed and waved him away. "Please, sir, you cannot disturb people here," one of the waiters finally said, walking towards him gently. "You have to leave." The man's shoulders dropped. For a second he turned his face fully, and the lights fell on his features. There was no more doubt. It was Donald, the man who once told her, in a cold voice, to choose between her dignity and her job. The man who said she was not serious about success because she refused to sleep with him. Now his eyes moved across the room, searching for one kind face, and landed on her. Their eyes met. His mouth fell open. "Amanda?" he whispered. The whole world went silent for her. In that moment, everything inside Amanda's chest twisted. The years between then and now crashed into her mind like a strong wave. Years ago, Amanda did not look like this. She was not wearing an expensive navy blue suit. She did not have gold on her wrist or a company card that could pay for anything in this restaurant. She was just a young junior software engineer with one pair of black shoes, a small laptop, and a big dream. Back then, Donald's office was the biggest one on the floor. He was the CEO of a rising tech company in Lagos. People whispered his name in the hallway. When his car entered the compound, security men stood straighter. Workers rushed to look busy. He walked like a king. His expensive cologne always came into a room before him. Amanda respected him. She thought he was smart. She thought he was the person she wanted to learn from. She worked hard. She stayed in the office late, fixing bugs in the code, building small features, making sure projects did not fail. Many nights, she slept on her chair, with her head on her desk, and her laptop screen still glowing. So the day she got an email saying, "Meet the CEO in his office by 7 p.m. We need to talk about your future here," her heart danced with joy. She imagined he wanted to promote her, maybe make her team lead, maybe give her a raise. Maybe he had seen how hard she worked. She fixed her hair in the bathroom mirror, wiped powder from her bag on her face, and told herself, "This is the beginning." The office was quiet by 7 p.m. Most people had gone home. The cleaners were mopping. The security guard outside the building hummed to a radio. Amanda knocked on Donald's door. "Come in," he said. She walked in and closed the door behind her. He was sitting in his big leather chair, wearing a white shirt with the top buttons open, gold cufflinks shining at his wrists. A half-empty glass of wine was on his table. "Amanda," he said, smiling. "Sit." She sat, nervous but hopeful. "Good evening, sir." "I have been watching you," he began. "You are smart, you work hard, you do not complain. That is good." Warmth spread through her chest. Her shoulders relaxed a little. "Thank you, sir," she said. He leaned back, studying her. "You want to grow in this company, right?" "Yes, sir." "Very much." He nodded slowly, then his eyes changed. There was something new in them. Something cold. "There are two doors to success in this place," he said. "One is slow and painful. The other is fast, but only for those who are ready." Amanda frowned slightly. I don't understand, sir." Donald stood up from his chair and came around the table. He sat on the edge of his desk, too close to her. She could smell his cologne clearly now. He looked down at her with a smile that made her stomach feel sick. "I can make you my special staff," he said. "No more small salary, bigger role. You will be protected. But," he paused, "you have to show me you are ready to do anything for your future." Her fingers tightened on her bag. "What do you mean, sir?" she asked, even though deep inside she already knew. He did not hide it. "I want you to spend the night with me," he said calmly, like he was asking her to send an email. "One night. After that, your position in this company is secure." The office suddenly felt too small. Amanda felt like the air had gone away. Her heart pounded. Her ears rang. She stared at him, hoping it was a bad joke. "It's either that," he added, "or you can resign peacefully. I do not keep staff who are not ready to do what it takes." Her mouth fell open. "Sir, I worked so hard. You know I worked hard. This is not." He lifted one hand. "Life is not a fairy tale, Amanda," he said. "This is how the world works. Decide." She could not speak for a while. She thought of her rent, her parents in Kaduna, her siblings, the people who believed in her. She thought of her dreams. She thought of all the nights she stayed in the office, thinking hard work was enough. Her eyes burned with tears. "If you walk out of that door without giving me the answer I want," Donald said quietly, "do not come back tomorrow. I will send HR an email tonight." He looked at his wristwatch. "You have 1 minute." The ticking of the clock on the wall suddenly became very loud. Amanda looked down at her hands, shaking on her lap. Her mind screamed, "This is not fair. This is not fair. This is not fair." Then another voice rose inside her, small but strong. "Your body is not a sacrifice. Your dignity is not his reward to give." She stood up slowly. Her knees felt weak, but her back stayed straight. "I choose to leave, sir," she said, her voice low but clear. "You can keep the job." His smile disappeared. "You are not ready to work in the real world," he said through his teeth. "You will suffer. Nobody will remember you. You will come back begging." He turned away from her, already reaching for his phone. "HR will send your exit letter tomorrow," he said. "You can go." Amanda picked up her bag with shaking hands and walked out. Her heart was broken. Her dreams felt crushed. Tears rolled down her cheeks in the elevator, but she lifted her chin and wiped them away. "If this is the price of staying clean," she whispered to herself, "then I will pay it." Years passed. She struggled. There were nights she had no money for food. There were days she coded in a small room with bad network, using an old fan that made more noise than breeze. But she kept working. She kept building small apps, writing proposals, sending emails, knocking on doors. 1 year after she left Donald's company, something changed. An international firm looking for a Nigerian tech partner received one of her bold proposals. The project was big. Too big for the small girl in a tiny room with a second-hand laptop. But they saw her idea. They saw her courage. They saw her clean record. And they said yes. $400 million. That was the contract that gave birth to Manditech. That was the beginning of her new life. From that point, things moved fast. She built a team. She opened offices. She bought properties. She invested in restaurants, in real estate, in people. And now, today, years later, she was here. in a beautiful restaurant she owned, with a clean heart, looking at the same man who once tried to buy her future, and he was the one begging. "Amanda," Donald whispered again, louder this time. The waiter beside him looked between them, confused. The restaurant became very quiet. People turned their heads, sensing that something important was happening. Amanda slowly pushed her chair back and stood up. Her tall, confident figure rose in her navy blue suit. The gold on her wrist caught the light. The logo of Manditech glowed softly on the phone placed by her plate. Every eye followed her as she took one step, then another, toward the broken man in the middle of her restaurant. Donald's eyes filled with tears. Suddenly, right there in front of everyone, he dropped to his knees. "Please." His voice broke. "Amanda, I am sorry. I am so sorry." Gasps filled the room. Someone's fork fell to the floor. Two teenagers at a corner table started recording with their phones. The waiter froze. Amanda stopped right in front of him, looking down at the man who once told her she would come back begging. Her chest rose and fell. Her hands were shaking not from fear, but from the storm of memories and emotions fighting inside her. Everyone waited to see what she would do. Would she shout at him? Would she send him away? Would she call security? Would she pretend she didn't know him? The air in the restaurant felt heavy, like the whole place was holding its breath. As Amanda slowly opened her mouth to speak, for a long moment Amanda said nothing. Her eyes stayed locked on Donald, this man who once spoke to her like he owned her fate, now kneeling at her feet with shaky hands and tears that made small wet lines down his dusty face. Every corner of the restaurant was silent. People stopped eating. A waiter forgot he was pouring juice, and the glass overflowed. Two women who were arguing about the bill earlier now stared with wide eyes. Even the music seemed to fade on its own. "Amanda, please," Donald whispered again, his voice sounding like dry sand. "I am sorry. I destroyed everything. I destroyed myself." Amanda swallowed slowly. Her throat felt tight, not with anger, but with shock, pity, and a heavy wave of old pain she thought she buried long ago. She took a deep breath. "Stand up," she finally said. Donald shook his head, still kneeling. "No. Please, let me say this from the ground. I don't deserve to stand in front of you." Someone in the back gasped again. A man near the door murmured, "Ha! This life, anything can happen." Amanda closed her eyes briefly, steadying her voice. "Donald," she said softly, "stand up." He lifted his head slowly, like he was afraid it was a trick. She stepped aside a little, creating space, and nodded. With trembling legs, Donald rose. But even standing, he looked smaller than she remembered. His shoulders were bent, his eyes sunken, his clothes hanging off him like they did not belong to him. Amanda turned to the nearest waiter. "Please bring him a plate of jollof rice and chicken," she said, her voice calm but firm. "And water. Now." The waiter nodded quickly and hurried off. People whispered as she placed a gentle hand on Donald's arm and guided him toward her table. Is he her uncle? Maybe her driver? No, he's someone important. See the way she's looking at him. Important? That man looks like he sleeps under the bridge. Shh, they're sitting down. When they reached her table, Amanda pulled out the chair opposite hers. Sit, she said. Donald hesitated. His eyes darted around like he wasn't sure if she was truly asking or testing him. Sit, she repeated softly. He lowered himself into the chair, shaking like someone recovering from fever. Amanda sat too, folding her hands on the table, trying to steady the storm inside her. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The waiter arrived with the plate steaming hot rice, grilled chicken, and a tall glass of cold water. He placed it gently in front of Donald. Donald stared at it, but did not touch it. He looked up slowly. Amanda, you should not be this kind to me. Amanda's jaw tightened, not in anger, but in memory. She saw herself years ago, standing in his office in tears, holding on to her dignity, while he smirked like he owned her future. She took a small breath and faced him fully. What happened to you, Donald? She asked quietly. His lips trembled, and then he broke. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly. His face folded into pain as tears slipped down his cheeks again, dripping onto the table. His shoulders shook. I lost everything, he whispered. What happened? Amanda asked again, gentler this time. He swallowed hard, like the words hurt. It started 1 month after you left, he said, looking down at his dirty hands. Someone reported me to the authorities. Amanda blinked, her heartbeat quickened. Donald continued, voice unsteady. They said I had been abusing my power, that I was using my position to demand things from female staff. It wasn't just you, Amanda. Many others came forward. Amanda felt her chest tighten. She knew she wasn't the only one, but hearing it still shocked her. The board didn't want a scandal, Donald said. So they set everything up quickly. They arranged my arrest. I was charged. I thought I could fight it. But everything collapsed. He rubbed his eyes with his palm. I was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Amanda's eyes widened slightly. 3 years. 3 years behind walls. Donald's voice cracked again. When I came out, I had no job, no money, no reputation. Nobody wanted to associate with me. My wife. His face twisted with shame. My wife sold our house, sold our cars, sold my business shares, everything. She said she couldn't stay with a man who had embarrassed her. Amanda breathed slowly. Donald continued. She moved to Europe with our 2 daughters. She didn't even tell me the day she left. A broken smile came to his face. I came home to an empty house. Tears rolled down again. When the money finished, people pushed me away. Friends, cousins, people I fed with my own hands. He shook his head. Nobody wanted a scandal around them. He pressed his fingers into his temples like the memories were knives. I tried to get a job, but every company recognized my name. They refused. They rejected me. They insulted me. He looked up at Amanda with red eyes. I have been living in an abandoned, uncompleted building for the past 8 months. Amanda's breath caught in her chest. 8 months. And today, Donald whispered, rubbing the table with shaking fingers. I woke up with no food, no strength. I came here because someone told me they sell leftover food for cheap. He finally looked at Amanda fully. And then I saw you, the last person on earth I ever thought I would meet again, the last person I deserved to face. Amanda felt something shift in her chest. She remembered the humiliation he gave her, the nights she cried alone, the pain she carried for months, the fear of hunger, the confusion, the shame. But she also saw the man in front of her. Frail, broken, alone, carrying the weight of his own choices. She brushed a tear from her cheek. You hurt me, Amanda said softly, almost too softly for the room to hear. You hurt many people. But pain changes people, Donald. He closed his eyes, ashamed, and I can see it changed you. Donald cupped his face with his hands. I am sorry, he whispered. I destroyed myself. I deserve anything you say. Anything. Amanda looked at him for a long moment. Then she reached into her bag and placed something on the table between them. A card. Not just any card. A Manditech business card with her name printed in bold gold letters. Donald stared at it like it was a miracle he didn't deserve. Amanda leaned forward. Take it, she said. He stared. What? Why? Amanda's voice shook with emotion, but also strength. Because revenge isn't power, she said. Kindness is. Donald broke into fresh tears, shaking uncontrollably. And because, Amanda continued, you fell but you can rise again. If you want to. Donald pressed the card to his chest, sobbing. The entire restaurant watched silently. Amanda stood, picked up her handbag, and took 1 step back. Come to Manditech headquarters tomorrow morning, she said. Ask for me. Donald blinked fast, not believing what he heard. I can come? He whispered. Yes. For a job? Amanda held his gaze. For a second chance. Donald bowed his head as tears fell onto the table. Amanda turned slowly and began walking toward the exit. The room parted for her like she was royalty. People stared. Some whispered. Some placed hands on their chests. They had just seen something powerful, something rare. Kindness defeating cruelty, mercy defeating pride. But as Amanda reached the door and placed her hand on the handle, her phone buzzed. She picked it up, and looked at the screen. The message made her freeze. Her breath caught. Her eyes went wide. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Her fingers trembled as she read it again. "Amanda, please answer. It's urgent. It's about your company." Her heart dropped. And just like that, her world tilted. Amanda stood at the glass door of her restaurant, her hand frozen on the handle, her heart pounding in her chest. The message on her phone glowed sharply. "Amanda, please pick up. It's urgent. Your company might be in danger." Danger? Her chest tightened. Mandy Tech wasn't just a company, it was her life's work. Her story. Her proof that she could rise without losing herself. The thought of something happening to it made a cold fear spread through her body. Behind her, Donald was still sitting at the table, holding the business card to his chest and crying softly. But the restaurant around her began to blur. She dialed the number immediately. "Hello?" she said, stepping outside into the bright Lagos afternoon. The voice on the other end was shaking. "Amanda. Thank God you called. Where are you?" "At the restaurant." "What happened?" There was a pause. "Amanda, something is happening at the headquarters." Her stomach twisted. "What do you mean? Talk to me." The voice lowered. "It's your new investor, Elias Monroe." Amanda felt the air leave her lungs. Elias Monroe, the billionaire angel investor from the UK, the man whose partnership was supposed to take Mandy Tech global, the man who promised millions to expand their AI systems into Europe. "What about him?" Amanda whispered. "Amanda." The voice trembled. "He's withdrawing his investment." Amanda felt like she had been pushed into cold water. "Withdrawing?" she repeated. "Why?" The person on the phone exhaled shakily. "He said he received disturbing reports about you, about your leadership, about your past." Amanda's heart stopped. "My past," she whispered. "What past?" "He said he was told you had a scandal years ago, something about leaving your first job because of improper behavior." Amanda's eyes widened in shock. "Improper behavior? What improper behavior?" "I was the victim." "I know," her staff member said quickly. "We know. But someone sent Elias a detailed report. Screenshots, messages, fake evidence. He thinks you were involved in some office misconduct." Amanda pressed her palm against her forehead. Her voice came out in a whisper. "Who would do that?" The answer came immediately. "We don't know yet. But whoever it is, they know how to make lies look real." Amanda closed her eyes, breathing hard. Her past, the one she fought so hard to escape, was coming back for her, and someone was using it to bring her down. "Elias is already calling an emergency board meeting," the voice continued. "If he pulls out today, Amanda, we could lose everything. The expansion, the partnerships, the stock value, everything." Amanda's fingers trembled violently. Her voice cracked. "I'm on my way." She ended the call slowly and stood still on the pavement, trying to breathe. Behind her, the restaurant door opened softly. "Amanda?" a weak voice said. She turned. Donald stood in the doorway, holding her business card with one hand and wiping his face with the other. His eyes were red and swollen. He saw the fear in her face immediately. "What happened?" he whispered. Amanda swallowed hard. "My company. Someone is trying to destroy it." Donald stepped outside, worry replacing his shame. "But why? Who?" Amanda shook her head. "I don't know, but I have to go now." Donald looked down at the card again. Her card, the card she gave him as a second chance. "Amanda," he said softly, stepping closer. "Let me help." Amanda blinked, confused. "You?" "Donald, this is corporate sabotage. I don't even know what's happening fully. And you, I know how people like this think," Donald said quickly, "because I used to be one of them." Amanda froze. Donald continued, voice breaking but serious. "I know how people in power hide their secrets. I know how they twist stories. I know how they fight when they feel threatened." His hands were shaking, but his eyes were steady. "If someone is trying to destroy Mandy Tech," he said firmly, "they will hit you where you're vulnerable. And the people doing this, they will not be strangers." Amanda stared at him, stunned. Donald lowered his head. I destroyed my life because of my choices, he said. Please, don't let someone destroy yours. Amanda felt something shift inside her, fear mixing with anger, determination forming behind her ribs. She turned and started walking toward her car. Donald followed slowly. Amanda, he said again, voice trembling. This attack on your company, it's personal, it has to be. Someone wants you to fall, someone who knows your weaknesses. Amanda opened her car door but stopped halfway. Her weaknesses. What were her weaknesses? Her past? Her humble beginnings? Her old employer? Her eyes widened. Her old employer? The company she left? The company that fired her? The company whose CEO was arrested after she spoke out? Someone from back then? Someone who still blamed her? Someone with power and a desire for revenge? Her breath shook. Her mind raced. But before she could process anything, Donald spoke again. Amanda, whoever sent that fake report. His voice lowered. They know your story better than you think. Amanda looked over her shoulder slowly. What are you saying, Donald? Donald swallowed. There is only one person, he said, voice barely a whisper. Who hates you enough to do this? Amanda stared at him, waiting. Donald's lips parted. And then he spoke the name she feared most. Amanda. I think it is someone from my old company. Amanda's mind spun. Someone from the place she left to protect her dignity. Someone who saw her as a threat. Someone who wanted to bury her future. Someone powerful. But before she could ask more, her phone buzzed again. A new message. She opened it. Her heart stopped. Amanda, we just received an anonymous email. It says, she should have stayed in the place she belonged. The board is panicking. Amanda's hand shook so hard the phone nearly fell. She whispered to herself, this person, they want to destroy me completely. Donald stepped closer. Amanda, he said carefully, there's something else you need to know. Amanda turned slowly. What is it? Donald took a breath, and what he said next made Amanda's entire world freeze. The person attacking you is someone who used to sit above me. Amanda's eyes widened. Above Donald? That meant someone higher than the former CEO, someone she never imagined could be involved, someone dangerous. Amanda, Donald said, voice weak with fear. You're fighting someone bigger than you think. Amanda's heartbeat thundered in her ears. Everything around her faded. The car, the street, the restaurant, the customers. All she heard was Donald's voice and the sound of her world slipping into danger. Amanda gripped the edge of her car door so tightly her knuckles turned white. Donald stood in front of her, trembling, his torn shirt fluttering slightly in the afternoon breeze. His words echoed in her head again. The person attacking you is someone who used to sit above me. Above him. Above the CEO. Amanda swallowed hard. There was someone above you, she whispered. You never told me that. Donald nodded slowly. Yes, and I never wanted to talk about him again. Amanda stared, her heartbeat pounding harder and faster. Donald, who is this person? Donald looked around nervously, making sure no one was listening. His hands shook as if the name itself carried danger. Amanda, he whispered, have you ever heard of Chairman Victor Hartman? Amanda's body went cold. Victor Hartman, the silent owner, the shadow behind the former tech company. A billionaire investor with a face that rarely appeared in public. A man who controlled companies without ever sitting in their offices. A man known for destroying anyone who embarrassed his brand. Amanda had only heard rumors about him, cold, calculating, merciless. Her voice trembled. But I never met him. Why would he attack me? Donald shut his eyes for a moment. Because you were the reason the scandal became public, he said quietly. When your story leaked, more women came forward. The press investigated. The company's shares dropped. The board almost fell apart. Amanda blinked, stunned. But the scandal was your doing, Donald. Your actions, not mine. I know, Donald whispered. And I take responsibility. But Chairman Hartman always needed someone else to blame. Someone he could call a weak link. Someone he could punish for the damage. Amanda's heart thudded painfully. You mean, he blames me for what happened to the company? Yes, Donald said with a miserable nod. He once told me that the company collapsed because one junior staff refused to follow company culture and chose to embarrass everyone. Amanda stepped back in disbelief. He said that about me? Donald looked at her with eyes full of regret. He hates whistleblowers. He hates rebellion. And Amanda. He swallowed. You were both. Amanda's breath trembled. But I didn't whistleblow. I didn't report anything. I didn't post anything. I just left. Donald nodded, his voice cracking. Yes, but another staff came forward and used your exit as evidence. Your story became the spark that lit the fire. Amanda pressed her hand against her forehead. Her entire world was spinning. He's after me, she whispered. He's actually trying to destroy Manditech. Not just Manditech, Donald said softly. He wants to destroy you, personally. Amanda turned away, staring at the cars passing on the busy Lagos road. She could feel her heartbeat in her throat. She felt cold, scared, and angry. What does he want? She asked, her voice low. To make sure you never rise high enough to challenge him, Donald replied. Amanda laughed bitterly. I never wanted anything from him. I never even met him. Donald sighed. Sometimes powerful people don't need a reason to attack. Your success alone is the threat. Amanda closed her eyes. This was bigger than betrayal, bigger than fear, bigger than old memories. It was revenge from a man she never even spoke to. Suddenly, a car horn blared near them, short, sharp, impatient. Amanda opened her eyes. Across the street, a sleek black SUV had pulled up. The windows were tinted. The engine purred like a quiet warning. Her breath caught. Something about the car felt wrong. Too careful. Too quiet. Too watching. Then the tinted window slowly lowered. Amanda froze. Donald stiffened beside her. Inside the SUV sat a man she recognized from newspaper photos. A man with pale grey hair and dark sunglasses. A man whose face never smiled. Chairman Victor Hartman. Amanda's chest tightened. He was here, watching them. At her restaurant. She hadn't even stepped into her car yet when his calm, icy voice floated through the open window. Amanda. Her name sounded like a threat. Donald stepped in front of her protectively, his voice shaking. Hartman, please. The old billionaire lifted one finger, and Donald immediately fell silent, as if a spell had been cast. Mr. Donald, Hartman said coldly, I see you are still useful. I wondered if your path would cross with hers again. It seems fate enjoys irony. Donald swallowed. Even from behind dark glasses, Hartman's presence was terrifying. Amanda steadied herself. What do you want? She asked, trying to keep her voice strong. Hartman tilted his head slightly. I want the world to know the truth, he said calmly. That you were the reason my company lost millions. That you were the reason my board fell apart. That you were the reason I had to rebuild from ashes. Amanda stepped forward. That's a lie, she said. You're blaming me for what your CEO did. Hartman smiled faintly, a cold, lifeless smile. It doesn't matter what is true, he said. Only what people are willing to believe. Amanda felt her stomach twist. So you sent Elias fake reports? She asked. You sabotaged my expansion. Hartman did not deny it. He simply folded his hands. You rose too quickly, he said, too confidently. People like you, people who refuse to obey power, must learn their place. Amanda clenched her fists. I will not let you destroy my company. Hartman chuckled softly. You already know I have started. Amanda's voice shook with anger. Leave me alone. Hartman narrowed his eyes. You took something from me years ago, he said. I will take something from you now. Amanda's breath hitched. I took nothing from you. You took control, he said, voice cold as steel. You made my employees believe they have rights. You gave them courage. Courage leads to rebellion. Amanda stared at him, horrified. You're punishing me because women reported abuse? Hartman nodded calmly. Yes. Her mouth fell open, he continued. And because you embarrassed one of my most trusted CEOs. Amanda looked at Donald. Donald looked at the ground. Hartman leaned forward slightly. You will lose your investor. Your company's value will drop, your board will panic, and within days, you will crumble. Amanda's heart squeezed painfully. You underestimate me, she whispered. Hartman raised one eyebrow. No, he said softly. I understand you too well. You fight with your heart, Amanda, but I fight with power. He tapped his car door once. The driver started the engine. Hartman spoke again, his final words drifting out like a curse. By the time this week ends, you will learn that kindness is weakness. The tinted window rose. The SUV pulled away slowly, leaving dust in its path. Amanda stood rooted on the ground, trembling from head to toe, her eyes burning with tears. Behind her, Donald whispered, Amanda, I'm so sorry. I never knew he would come after you. Amanda turned to the road, watching the SUV disappear. Her voice cracked with fear and rage. He wants to destroy me. Donald nodded weakly. Amanda, this man doesn't stop until he wins. Amanda clenched her fists. Her voice was now steady. Then she whispered the words that marked the true beginning of a war she never asked for. Then I will fight. But as she stepped into her car, her phone buzzed again. She looked down. Another message. Her throat closed. Her eyes widened. This one wasn't from her staff. It wasn't from Elias. It wasn't from anyone she recognized. It simply read, If you go to the office today, you won't make it home. You don't understand the danger you are in. Amanda dropped the phone. Her heart slammed into her ribs. Someone else, another shadow, was involved. Someone watching her. Someone warning her, or threatening her. Donald picked up the phone with shaking hands. Amanda, he whispered. Who sent this? Amanda stared at the message, her skin crawling. I don't know. But deep inside her chest, she felt the beginning of pure fear. Amanda's hands trembled as she stared at the last message again. If you go to the office today, you won't make it home. Wind brushed past her face, but she didn't feel it. The world around her, the restaurant, the cars passing, people walking felt far away, like she was trapped underwater. Amanda? Donald said softly. What does it mean? Who would send this? Amanda shook her head, her voice barely escaping her lips. I don't know. But this is not just corporate sabotage. Someone is willing to hurt me. Donald gently took the phone from her trembling hand. We need to think, he whispered. Chairman Hartman is powerful. He doesn't threaten with words. He threatens with action. If someone else is warning you, it means Hartman has already moved. Amanda inhaled shakily, then exhaled. No, she said firmly. I won't let him destroy everything I built. Mandy Tech is my life. My team depends on it. My family depends on it. I can't hide. Donald nodded slowly. But you can't be reckless either. Hartman has people everywhere. If you go to headquarters now, it might be what he wants. Amanda turned toward her car, gripping the top of the door. Her mind raced through everything she worked for, every late night, every sacrifice, every moment she pushed through fear and failure. She wouldn't lose it. Not like this. Not to him. She turned back to Donald. I need information, she said. The truth. I need proof that he's behind this, not me. Donald nodded. And I know exactly where to find it. Amanda's eyes narrowed. Where? Donald hesitated. The old company's private server, he said. Hartman kept everything there. Emails, messages, hidden documents, blackmail trails. He used to force me to delete evidence from that server. But, Donald's jaw clenched. He didn't know I saved copies. Amanda blinked rapidly. You saved evidence that could expose him. Donald nodded. Yes. I didn't know why I kept them. Maybe guilt. Maybe fear. Maybe for a day like this. Amanda's heart pounded. Where are these copies? Donald lowered his head. At the place I've been sleeping. An abandoned building in Ilopeyu. I hid a flash drive in a broken pipe inside the building. Nobody goes there. Nobody checks. Amanda grabbed his arm. That evidence can save Mandy Tech. Donald nodded. And destroy Hartman. Amanda tightened her grip on her handbag. Then we're getting it. Donald opened his mouth to protest, but she had already gotten into her car. He ran to the passenger side. Amanda, wait, it's dangerous. So is losing everything, she said. Get in. He climbed into the seat, still anxious. She started the engine and sped off. Lagos traffic roared around them as they drove toward Ilupeyu. Amanda's hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, Donald guiding her with quick directions. You're shaking, Donald said. I'm angry, Amanda whispered. Anger looks like fear sometimes. Donald nodded slowly. You're brave, he said. No, Amanda replied. I'm desperate. They turned into a quiet, dusty road, lined with half-completed buildings. It felt abandoned, silent, eerie, forgotten. This is it, Donald said, pointing to a grey building with missing windows. Amanda parked. Something felt wrong. She stepped out and scanned the area. Silence. No people. No movement. Donald led the way inside. The building was dark, dusty, with broken tiles and empty rooms echoing their footsteps. They reached the corner where Donald bent down beside a rusted pipe. It's here, he said. Give me a second. Amanda looked around, uneasy. Something didn't feel right. Donald loosened the pipe carefully, reached inside, and pulled out a dusty black flash drive wrapped in nylon. Got it, he whispered. Amanda let out a long breath. We need to leave now. But before they could turn, they heard footsteps, slow, cold. Echoing through the empty building, Amanda froze. Donald's face went pale. The footsteps got closer. Who's there? Amanda whispered. No answer. Donald whispered. Amanda, Hartman must have tracked me. He must have known I hid something. Amanda glanced toward the open doorway where the footsteps were coming from. Then, a tall, dark figure stepped into the room. Not Hartman, but someone Amanda recognized. Her assistant, Michael, the one who texted her earlier about the investor crisis. Amanda, he said softly, you shouldn't be here. Amanda blinked. Michael? What are you doing here? Michael stepped closer. I came to warn you. Amanda's heart raced. You sent the message? He nodded. Yes, because someone at the office told Hartman you were going to investigate. He sent men here. Amanda felt the floor tilt under her. What do you mean, men? Michael took a deep breath. Amanda, you have to leave now. They're coming. Amanda stepped closer. Michael, are you working with Hartman? Michael's eyes softened. No, I'm working for you. I've always admired you. You built the company that gave me my first job. I couldn't let him hurt you. Amanda's hands tightened. Then, help us escape. Michael nodded quickly. This way. There's a back exit. He led them through a narrow hallway and toward a broken door, but before they reached it, a loud shout echoed behind them. There! Heavy footsteps thundered through the building. Amanda gasped and turned. 4 men in black jackets were running toward them. Donald stepped in front of Amanda instinctively. Michael whispered sharply, Run! They sprinted through the back door into a narrow alley behind the building. Amanda, this way. Amanda's heart pounded as they raced through dusty corners, squeezing past broken walls. The men chased them closely. Amanda, Donald shouted, keep going. Amanda pushed herself harder until they reached the road again. Michael waved to a passing Okada. Go! Go! Take them! The Okada rider, confused but alert, nodded immediately as Amanda and Donald jumped on. Michael shouted, I'll distract them. Go! Amanda reached out to him. Michael, don't. But 2 of the men turned toward Michael. Michael stood firm. You'll have to go through me, Amanda screamed as the Okada rider took off at full speed. Michael! Her voice broke, but the wind swallowed the rest. They didn't stop until they reached Amanda's private apartment, secured, gated, and protected by guards she trusted. Inside, she sank onto the sofa, shaking uncontrollably. Donald collapsed on a chair, out of breath. Amanda finally whispered, Plug the flash drive into my laptop. Donald opened it with trembling hands. Lines of folders appeared. Labeled, Executive Messages, Hidden Audio Files, CEO, Scandal Archives, Board Manipulation Documents, Chairman Orders Blackmail Material, Deleted Email Trails. Amanda covered her mouth. This is enough evidence to destroy him. Donald nodded. And enough to prove your innocence. Amanda clicked on the top folder. Emails opened. Her name was mentioned dozens of times. Messages like, Amanda must be controlled before she becomes a threat. Spread false stories about her exit. If she rises too fast, we eliminate her influence. Amanda's hands shook with fury. He planned my downfall from the beginning, she whispered. Donald nodded sadly. I'm sorry, Amanda. I should have stopped him. Amanda looked at him. No, today, you saved me. Then she took a deep breath. We're going public. Donald stared. Public? Yes, Amanda said, her eyes sharp and determined. The world will see the truth. The investors, the board, the press, everyone. Donald hesitated. Are you ready for the storm? Amanda smiled faintly. I built my empire in the rain, she whispered. Storms don't scare me. The next morning, Amanda walked into Manditech headquarters, not in fear, but in power. The press waited. Cameras flashed. Reporters pushed microphones forward. Amanda, is it true you were involved in misconduct? What can you say about Elias withdrawing? Is Manditech collapsing? Is it true a powerful billionaire is behind this? Amanda raised one hand. The room fell silent. Then she spoke clearly, confidently. I have evidence, and I am ready to show the world the truth. She plugged in the flash drive. Emails, audio recordings, hidden orders, board manipulation, blackmail, everything. The journalists gasped. The board members whispered in disbelief. Her employees stared with tears in their eyes. Elias Monroe, watching from a screen, leaned forward, shocked. Amanda finished with one sentence. Strength is not destroying others. Strength is standing when others try to break you. The world erupted. Chairman Hartman's empire began to burn. The authorities opened an investigation. Elias reinstated his investment. The stock rose higher than before. Manditech expanded twice as fast. And Donald? Amanda kept her promise. She made him her personal assistant, one who worked with humility, gratitude, and deep respect. Every day, he tried to undo the harm he once caused. And every day, Amanda showed him what true leadership looked like. Not cruelty, not fear, but kindness. The kind Hartman believed was a weakness. But in the end, kindness won. Powerfully, publicly, completely. If you like this story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.